Now if you look up here, you see this button is a help button to show you how the tools work, but that is the main reason of this tutorial. So basically I'm going to be a bit speedy in the tutorial process. So here is a save copy to device. View options is when you have applied some file, some retouch to your designs, and you want to see file info, you want to see the histogram. You get all this. I'm going to try to cover up in this particular tutorial, so stay with me. Then create preset is when you have retouched and you want to save up that particular retouch you have done in the design. You create a preset, type in a name and save it. Then if you feel like you want to save up a particular retouch effect from this particular project to another project, you just copy, press that copy settings, move to slide to another this thing, and then paste it there. So moving down here, you see the presets. Now these presets are, the first one is recommended, where your data is on. When you have a solid strong internet connection, they will give you recommended according to what they are seeing. The AI will be able to predict particular effects that you need. Then here is where you meet the presets that you have saved in your user presets. These ones from the color below to vignette is the ones that they gave you as. Let me show you some from the creative. You can see these red lift mats, it will apply there, but this is not what we need. We want to create our own retouch from scratch. Then here is the crop button. From the perspective to the aspects, this aspect now is the crop ratio, the straighten, as you can see, rotates and stuff like that. Then the next button we're entering is the edit button. Now this edit button has an auto as the first. Now this auto adjusts your light and your color automatically, but it doesn't work every single time. For me, I don't know if you try it and you like it, it's fine, but it doesn't work every time for me. I'm just going to reset that back to how it was. So I usually start my edit process, my retouch process, from detail. I increase my sharpness to the highest point. As you can see, this tree works for me. The marking maybe a little, but then when I increase this sharpening to the ends and it's too much, I just tap in a little of the noise reduction to probably 10 or 17 up here. So color noise just reduce when there's too much color on the image or the design. It kind of removes those greening feels you get. Then effects, I head over to effects next. Now effects is texture, the general texture of the design, whether it's going to be blurry or it's very texturized, you get. So I usually leave it a little bit here, a little bit to 20. Then my clarity, of course I need my clarity to be at 30, so it's giving me, I don't usually touch my dehaze because it doesn't really work for me. I still leave it at 0 or probably 1. Then vignette, I use vignette when I want to kind of give something a spotlight. If you increase this, how I usually make my vignette work for me is that when I increase it to the highest point, I see how my midpoints affect the design. I see how the feather either makes it hard or it makes it blurry. The show light at the middle blurry. I see how round it gets or how flat it gets. I see the highlights better and stuff. So I just end up reducing it back after I've applied these other features to it. Okay. Then for my grain, I don't mostly use the grain effects in most designs because it will affect you when you are exporting, because when you export, the grain feature might have an effect on it on some medias. You get, it might come out wrong in the right media, so I just leave it at 10, the size and the roughness to be normal. My next off is light. Now this light is very important. If you look here, you see curve. Now if you're not an expert in this curve, you can kindly leave it out. I will make another tutorial to show you the advanced tools in Lightroom, but for now this is a basic retouch process. Now for the curve, if you want to do an S curve, you have to be mindful of what you're doing. Now the white will affect the white lights, the red will definitely affect your warmth and the hues you get. To affect your red, the red in the image or the design, so that make it darker or lighter. It's just like plotting a graph. So the green, the same things. Your blue, definitely. Some people with advanced knowledge will actually make it to be in an S format, but then if you are not advanced, don't play with this tool, just leave it how you want to leave it. Now this is when you tap and hold on it, you see your before and your after, you get. So we're actually heading somewhere with the retouch. So let's head over to exposure. Exposure will either darken everything, you get, or highlight everything. So your exposure should be at maybe 0.12. Your contrast, I don't usually touch contrast unless it's an image or a design that needs to be contrasted, you get. So highlights, I usually reduce my highlights because I don't want them to be high. The highlights affects the white part. When you highlight is too much, everything tends to be kind of whitish. When your highlight is dark, it removes that excess light. Then your shadow works on your dark places. If you watch, you see how dark it goes, and the shadow increases those dark places, those dark hidey places you get. Then your white should be a little bit in the front, just to highlight some few whitish places like his teeth, and some, just to complement the highlights that you reduce. Because if you increase the highlights and you reduce the white, it's still the same thing kind of, but the highlights will remove excess light, while the whites will promote the necessary whites remaining, and the shadows will then complement the tree you get. So your black also complements the highlight reducing being reduced, you get. Your blacks now make them darker, give them more contrast, than like give the dark places more contrast, you get. So now from this pale plain stuff to actually something more color and vibe. Now for this place is the black and white, of course it is boldly written the black and white. We press our undo. Then my advice is to always as short, like how the design came, that is how it will be when you're retouching the color. But you can choose to put it at auto, which will still reset, and I don't like using the auto because it might not place it how you want. So for temperature, we are going to leave the temperature, but just to know, the temperature is from cold to warm, you get, just between that range. The tint is from green to pink, you get. So if you want your design to have a kind of pink kind of vibe, it has to go that side, a kind of colorful kind of green, more like between nature and more like between this fluorescent green and this kind of color. So you just have to balance everything. That's why most times I don't end up touching my tints, because this color grade up here is going to help me do that. So let's leave this as short. Now for vibrance, I recommend increasing it to probably 2, just to bring out the little colors in the overall design. Saturation, increasing saturation will either give it too much color, so I prefer either you leave it at 0 or you reduce it a little, because the vibrance is already doing that work of desaturation right now. So next off, we head into color grade. Now for this first place, this is the shadows. So everywhere that needs sorry, let's reduce this so you can see the general. So these shadows now, as you can see, when you tap on this three button, you see reset shadows. This one you have already done the necessary stuff. So now this slider here and the color wheel is where you're going to be touching. So if you put your slider at green, it's going to have a green color grade. As yellow, a yellow color grade. Pink, the same. You're going to be placing it in between the orange and the pink, so it's giving us a kind of that kind of pinkish red, something like that. Then when you increase your slider to here, it's going to be like very much of a color grade. When you leave it at 0, it's going to be less of, so you have to balance it. That's why I said retouching your design is very experimental. Sorry, let's take this slider out here. It's very experimental, so you have to keep trying to get the perfect retouch. So the luminance is either to darken the whole color grade you just applied or increase it and give it light. You get, so I'm just going to give us a little light up of the color grade. Then the blending, either you're going to blend it so that it doesn't appear at all, or you blend it to be too much. So everything is trying to find the balance, not to be too much and not be too less. You get, then here is balance between not having the color grade at all and having the color grade. So you're just going to put it almost at just in front of not having a color grade at all. So the next off is mid tones. Now for the shadow works on all the dark places to color grade all the dark places in our design. The mid tones work for this. The mid tones is literally every single tone in the design is covering both the highlighted parts and the shadows. You get, so I don't usually touch this much. I just usually leave it at 0 because the shadow has literally done this work now, so there's no need for me to touch my mid-tones. Now for the highlights, if you press here, you see that the highlights now take only for the highlights. You get, all those places that are quite shiny and white are the highlights, all the places that are dark are the shadows. I don't also touch my highlights because shadows literally just retouched that place for me. So let's try shifting, let's try using another color to complement that reddish, maybe this, a little bit of green and blue, something like this. Then maybe slide our to be small, yeah, something like this. Then we move over to the next one, which is global. Now this global affects the three of them together, so there's no need of touching the global since we have already done the tree individually. But you can choose to not do any of the tree and just come to the global ones and touch everything at the same time. You get, so let's just take this back to the center. So this is basically for color grades. Now next to mix. Now this mix affects each color in your image or your design individually. Now for red, this will change when you slide like this. It touches every part of the design of the red. So if you choose to slide from the original red to purple, if you reduce saturation to 0, it's going to remove his lips color, the color of the logo, and you don't want that. So be careful how you use these sliders. This is the orange, everything orange here is going to change, including his face. This is yellow, same applies, same. Now this tool, now target adjustment tool, is if you place the target adjustment and you adjust your hand, it's going to be shifting. This is for the hue here for red to be shifting and changing. This is just basically like the slider, but better. Instead of sliding, you just have to move your hand now, increase the saturation or reduce saturation, you get. So luminance, the same thing, either increases or reduce. So instead of sliding like this, you just get to use that tool, and you just get to use this color target adjustment tool and move, you get. So let's undo. We don't want the target stuff. So next is the blur tool. Now this blur tool needs your internet connection. As you can see here, is either you blur it in a circle or in a bubble or in an X blade or in a ring, or you focus then you blur. Sorry for a moment there, I'm going to turn up my internet connection to show you how it works. So we're back again using the blur tool now. As you can see, it's going to come up a bit, slide to change blur amount, connecting to cloud. So it's using the AI feature, and so it's basically like an NR doing his thing. So analyzing the design or the image and knowing the parts to blur. The next tool we are looking at is optics. Now this optics, under is you see remove chromatic aberration, which is removing excess colors. Then enable lens correction. This will work for you if you actually come here and select a manual. You can go with the Canon camera and see what comes out. You cannot be selected because it's not downloaded, so you need your internet connection for that. Then your profiles, you can choose any profiles, which is like already existing presets, then but we are not choosing that. Then the next is maxing. Now this maxing is when you want to specifically highlight a particular part of your design or your image that you want to edit specially. So you can use the select subjects, which is when you're connected to internet connection. Select sky, which is probably when it's a outdoor photo shoot. Then brush, linear, radiant, color range, which is all those ones I will be talking later on another advanced Lightroom tutorial. For here is the brush. When you click on this flap, you select brush, then this is the size of the brush. Here is how big you want it to be or not. Then let's brush over the place you want to edit. Then for here now, I'm just going to be increasing the sharpness, that's the detail, the noise, sharpness, the clarity, and the texture, because I want that place to pop more than other parts of the design. Then for optics, maybe a small Mori and a difference to remove excess colors you get. So the next up is remove. Now this remove works with generative AI, which you can either choose to replace a certain part of the design or the image with another prompts. That when you use your data connection on the generative AI, is most Photoshop users have seen this feature. Then for the size of the eraser, this is maybe when you want to remove something in a particular, just brush over it and it will do its stuff. So I canceling. So if you want to save your design, you head over to this share button up here, and you see save, copy to device, share, export as, create, edit, replay, post to community, invite, and get a link. You can just save your copy to device, but know that you will not be able to save it with the preferences you need to just save as a JPEG on its own, maybe probably with a low quality. If you choose to create, edit, replay, maybe save. Now this is a short video of your creative process. The Lightroom will create it for you and everything like that. Then you can choose to post community inside the Lightroom has a community for that. That is when your internet connection is on. Then we are going to be going with export as, so that we can set our preferences. Now if you come to file type, you see the JPEG, the AVIF, the DNG, the TIFF, and the original. Now we are going to go with JPEG because JPEG is high. Going with largest dimensions because we want it to come out very nice with all our features perfect. Now for this file type, now it depends on where your file type is needed. If you need it as a normal image, you have to go with the JPEG. If you need the GNG format, an AVI format, or a TIFF format, then you have to go with them. Then the quality is at 100%. Of course, we need all our stuff involved. Wait, sorry, let's go back there. So now you can choose to click the top button, that is the plus, and everything is saved up. But then let me show you something. You can choose, when you click this preset now, you see save JPEG small, save JPEG large, save original. Let's go with save original. As you can see, it's on save original. Then if you go to more options, you will see include metadata. This metadata now is every activity, every camera, and every file info of this file now is going to save everything for you on the description of the file, which is not very much going to affect anything. It's not even going to affect anything in your retouch. It's just for the file naming and stuff like that. So you can choose to set a custom name for this design. Now let me choose to set it Retouch Tuts, and that is going to what it's going to save at. Now for output sharpening, screen is going to have a very small effect. It's just like a very light effect on, it's going to sharpen your design, but it's going to have a very light effect on the design. It's going to add extra sharpening, but very light. Then glossy paper is like going to very glossy and like glass kind of sharpening, which I don't much advise people to actually try out this output sharpening, unless a design that you feel like you're going to only export to some accepted social medias that is not going to reduce the quality. Then you can go with screen and glossy paper. The matte paper is going to make your design look like an actual paper with texture. You get, it's going to actually give you that texture of an actual paper. You get. So amount, standard, low. I'm not even going with any output sharpening at all. My color space, of course, I'm going with the normal sRGB, which is accepted in most medias. If you go with the Pro Photo RGB, you might not be able to open it in your gallery because this is a smartphone right now, unless the camera you're using. So let's go with the normal sRGB, and then we click export. But before I click export, I have an upcoming 7-day seminar that's coming up on the 7th of July, and we have only 10 days. If you're watching this video right now, it might even has passed, or the 10 days have maybe elapsed to be more nearer on it. So just know that it's going to be happening on the 7th of July, and it's going to be 7 days live seminar from 7th to 14th every single night. All you need is a 5,000 naira to 10,000 naira fee to join us, and you'll be learning everything from how to get your clients, your background creation, to your Lightroom advanced retouch process. Everything with me on a live class. Don't miss it out for anything. If you have been watching my videos and you like them and you subscribe to them, because you get information from them, you get knowledge. Just know that this is going to be more than knowledge, because this is me revealing my secrets to you on how I create my designs.